Oh, hello. Leroy Cruz here, your life applications officer. Good to see you. Won't hold you long. I'll get right to the point. I say a lot of stuff, picking and mocking at atheists. Not because, I have to make this very clear, not because of any, first of all, and I say this to your shame, as well as to my honesty. I repeat, I say this to your shame, as well as my honesty. I don't frickin' care that someone doesn't believe in God. I really don't. I mean, that'd be like me caring because someone don't like soul music. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I do. That'd be like me caring because somebody don't like eating health food. You know, or, that'd be like, me getting mad because there's people out there that don't like interracial relationships. Or something like that. I mean, it's crazy what the atheists are trying to do. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've never met anyone like you, atheists. I mean, if you had come at us the way people are already coming at us, like everybody else is, now that I gotta hand it to you. You really pulled one on us by coming up with the idea. I mean, it's a master plan. Coming up with the idea that there is no God. Some of the most evilest people in the world, some of the most rudest, nastiest, perverted, dumbest people in the world would never be caught dead saying such a thing. But you got the guts to say it. And maybe some of you are really, really convinced that there is no God. But I keep saying it, I'm going to say it again. That's fine. But if it means anything more than that, then you should have the lifestyles and the attitudes, the love, the education, the homework, the enhancement to back it up. Because you don't just come and tell all these religions that have been here for all these years. I mean, since God knows the world has began even. And you think you're just going to walk up and just shoot it down the middle. There is no God. For all these years, thousands of years, we've been fooled. Nobody ever saw Jesus die on the cross for our sins. We were fooled. That was an isolated story for isolated people. Just a crazy incident. That man probably died because he, it was a law back then and he was a sinner and he was bad and so he got what he deserved. Had nothing to do with no God or no sacrifice for any sin. It's just some dude getting nailed to a cross because that's the way they punished people back in those days. Okay, there was never any Moses. There was never any Moses in a burning bush. There was never any Noah in any ark. There was never any of this stuff. Just stories of people where people that were superstitious and dumb and idiotic made all this stuff up because they were superstitious and they were into spooky stories because they didn't have science. So they made up stuff because they didn't have science back in them days. So their way of observing science was to make up these stories. And now today you can put those stories away and burn them because we have science now. And if science tells us that there is no God, and this is the thing, it doesn't stop there. If science tells us that there is no God, and that a man is not a man any longer, maybe we're not humans, first of all. We're really animals. Our common ancestor is an animal. And then we are not really men and women. We are male and female. And just like animals, we can choose to be, there is no definite genders. We choose genders as we mature as adults. We choose our genders. And they don't have to be either male or female. And there is no roles for men, no roles for women. It's just Christian bigots making life hard for us, and the minute we get rid of religion, we can move on. And I've heard it 100 times since, or maybe 500 times since 2013. I've been into this, watching you at the old power plant. And when I first met you, I was kicking the screen like these. You gotta be kidding me. I was smacking my computer screen at the old power plant where I actually got paid to keep the computer running by watching YouTube. That's how I got into YouTube. YouTube was the only thing that would keep the computer running. Anything else, it would time out in just seconds. I'd run to the restroom and boom, I got to type in all them codes again. So that's how I got into YouTube by, and I would watch YouTube and I'm sitting there and I'm dozing off. And all of a sudden I hear a bunch of cuss words and there's some guy on there burning the Bible. F God, there is no effing God, he's burning the Bible. And I'm like, hold up. Then I'd hear people kept referring to God as a spaghetti monster. Okay. And the reason why I cannot give up God, because number one, two reasons. Number one, everything in this world shows me that there has to be a God. Don't show you that. I just recently had to trap some mice, and kill some mice that made their way into my apartment. These little creatures are very tiny. I mean mice. About the size, looked like a little hairy, these were babies. About the size of a hairy roach, a hairy cockroach or something. Smaller than a cockroach. Made their way into my apartment because of the weather and because of the work that's being done outside. They don't want to confess they got a hole in the ground outside coming into the building, and they're not concerned about it, which is one of the reasons why I'm moving, besides the fact of the other nonsense of this ghetto. But anyway, these mice got into my house, and you go to get traps, and you go to the drugstore, not the drugstore, the hardware store, and they tell you what to do to catch these mice. And you go there, and you buy all this stuff. I spent a bunch of money. Okay? And I bought poison. I bought traps. I bought 2 types of traps. I even bought a little thing for them where they can go in there and have fun while they're looking for something to eat. I mean, I might as well start taking care of hamsters. I bought so much stuff for these mice. And these mice have like the smartest brain. I mean, and the children are smarter than the adults. Like, the adults will run right into a trap. And bam, you got them. The adults are easy to catch because they run right into traps. The children, the babies, are very smart because what they do is they go into an area and they scope it out and they memorize how they got in and how they got out. And they memorize and they make sure when they come back in that everything is in the place that it was. And in order to catch the babies, you have to keep changing the traps and keep changing, because once they scope the place out, okay, if they don't, if they keep coming in there and everything's the same, they'll never ever, And out of all the mice that I killed, most of them were adults. The babies ate the poison, but the adults ate the poison faster. The adults fell for the traps faster. Okay? And I believe that the adults are all dead. Now we got the little smallest ones that are left. Hopefully, I haven't seen any of them in here for over a week. Hopefully, my landlord told me that they should be moving out of here in the summer. In the spring, it's going to get warm out. They're going to be leaving. I haven't seen any in over a week. But this is why you always see me looking like this, because I hear a noise, I go looking. One of them little critters then come from behind, because I know where they're hiding at. They're in the wall behind my kitchen. And try to tell people that, but they're not going to come in here and let them out, or trap them, or seal them so they can't get in everybody's apartments and all that kind of stuff. So, but these things are so smart. They are smarter than adults. They are smarter than their own adults. You mean to tell me that all came from evolution? Evolution creates a brain. You tell me that you've been deceiving, Mr. Cruz. You've been deceiving all these people. Your religion, your false cult, your fallacy has been deceiving all these people for thousands of years. And how long has Darwinism been lying to us? You mean to tell me evolution created the human brain? And when you look at the brain of any particular species, animal, their brains are similar. And if you look at the brains of humans, their brains are similar. Everything is done. This is why God, from my understanding, that I can't let go. I'm sorry, atheists, but my Bible tells me we're created in God's image. That is why we don't run around like mice and rats. Okay? We don't bang like apes and dogs. Okay? We don't hunt. We're not scavengers. We're not, you know what I mean? We take showers every day. We shave every day. We clean our nails out every day. We we have relationships that are lifelong with the people in our lives. You know, if we're married, we try to be married forever. And we, if we have a baby and that baby doesn't turn out right, we don't eat it or kill it. You know what I'm saying? We raise that handy. Oh, wait a minute. No, we don't. We used to. But now that abortion's here, just like animals, we'll kill our child. If the baby came from the wrong kind of pregnancy, if we get raped or we practice incest or whatever, we'll kill the baby, because just like animals sometimes kill their children, dogs and cats and different ones will kill their children if their children are sick, or if their children don't come out right, or if their children, they'll kill their own kids. So kill them and eat them, some of them, But now, because adults tend to act like that sometimes, you want me to believe that it makes sense that we all evolved from a code of evolution. I beg to differ, I really do. Shout out to Jacqueline Glenn. Shout out to Jacqueline Glenn. Getting off that subject, I said a lot of things about Jacqueline Glenn over time, and I will continue to say more, because I don't know if her dad watches her videos, but how can you not watch her videos? And I'm not saying, of course she doesn't say anything about her own dad. Shout out to Jacqueline Glenn for keeping a good relationship with her father. New respect for Jacqueline Glenn. It's the first time I've seen this video. I didn't realize her father was a Christian. I thought her father was going to say that he once was a Christian, and But at the same time, how far is a Christian permitted to take a stand? I got some family members that told me they want to keep their distance because they don't like my Facebook channel, because I preach the gospel on my Facebook channel. Not quite as aggressive as I do here on YouTube, but I do preach the gospel, and there's been people that have told me, family members to be exact, that have told me they don't like my Facebook channel, the stuff that I say on Facebook. So let's keep a distance. How far is a Christian permitted to take a stand if he disagrees with your lifestyle or your actions? How far is he allowed to take a stand? Maybe he doesn't want to go to a gay wedding. Maybe that insults his spiritual intelligence. Maybe he don't want to go to your gay wedding. You say, well, he should want you to be happy. What if he believes that it's wrong and that it's fiction? You want somebody like that at your wedding? You'd be better off asking him not to come to your gay wedding. What if they're trying to legalize marijuana today. What if I don't want you smoking marijuana in my house because I don't choose to evolve with that sermon? If you're smoking it, you got to use a lighter to light it, or you got to vaporize it. To me, it's still a drug. So what if I don't want to, Mr. Glenn? What if I don't want my daughter smoking her weed in my house? Is she still going to get on YouTube and give the same story that Jacqueline gave about you? If I don't want my daughter smoking weed in my house? Smoking weed on my YouTube channel? And what if, like there's people that know me, they know that separation is true. If you really are a Christian, you will not have mixed cultures of friends. What I mean by saying that is you may get along with all people because you work with all people and you help all people, but you're not going to hang out with gays because who you hang out with, you mingle with, and who you mingle with, you learn from. So a person who's a born-again Christian is not going to hang out with gays. Not that he hates gays, he's just not going to hang out with them. He's not going to hang out with people that smoke and drink and do drugs. And if he goes out with his friends and he has a drink and they start getting drunk, he'll be leaving or getting a cab home. Because he's not going to practice that, okay? He's not going to hang out with the fornicators and adulterers. And, most Christians I know, you won't even catch them dead in a tattoo parlor. Or ever catch them getting themselves pierced other than earrings. Okay, you got to think back in time. How come the bathing suits have changed since the 70s and 60s? Okay, how come at one time only men wore tattoos and now women are exchanging the beauty that once made a woman so beautiful? I mean, especially if you're going to show your skin. So instead of covering that skin up with the right proper clothing, okay, you're covering it up with tattoos now, okay? So you'll walk around half naked because you want everybody to see your tattoos. I mean, where was this at in the 70s? I was born in 1966. I've been on this earth since 1966. And when you're my age and you have seen the changes that have happened over the years, I mean, the way people talk and act has changed drastically. But the Bible, this thing right here, this data master right here, tells us and warned us that these things would happen. Okay? But if I don't approve of your lifestyle, are you going to like me? What if you want to tell me about, your gay love affair last night that you did with your boyfriend or your girlfriend? And I say, can we change the subject? Or am I still your best friend? Am I still someone you want to hang out with? Are you going to give me a compliment on YouTube? I'm not saying anything nasty. I just want to change the subject. I don't want to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Or what if I don't allow my daughter to go into a transgender bathroom? Okay, or go into a bathroom where, transgenderism is going on. What if I don't want her in there and she obeys me? But everybody else's daughter is in there. Does that make me, is that worth hating me? Is that worth wanting my head? Okay? Will you still consider me a good friend and a good Christian after I've felt that way? See, separation is beautiful, but in order for you to call somebody a bigot without someone coming out and saying nasty things to gain that reputation as a bigot, then in order for you to call somebody a bigot or say that, they're evil because they don't accept, what you're selling or what or your choice, okay, is something that they want to be near, okay? You're pushing your religion on us that feel that way. Okay? And that's when it's time to go back in time to the Crusaders. Okay? And do some killing. That's when it's time to go back and go to Salem and kill the witches. When you try to push you on me. Now, what did Jackie Chan say in Rush Hour 3? He said, no, no. You're you. I'm me. Okay? Separation is beautiful. Let us have our separation. This is my biggest problem. This is the angle I'm coming from. By atheists looking for ways to pull out of us, and not only atheists, but social media and so forth, looking for ways to pull out of us what we believe, so that they can whoop us some kind of way, beat us some kind of way for what we believe is total criminality to me. It's wrong. If I wanna believe that something is wrong, and it's wrong in my opinion, and I address it as my opinion, I say I'd rather not talk about that. I say let's not go there. Why should anybody come after me and try to open up a battlefield with me? Why? Okay? You know why? Because you don't like the idea that somebody might be better and be moral and be spiritual at the same time. Let me say that again. Because you don't like the idea that those that are more spiritual and are moral might be better than you. Okay? And not only that, because you feel, and it's true, you do. You feel that you have the whole world on your side. This is where atheists are cowards. Atheists want you to think that they're standing alone. But what about the Christians, the so-called Christians that are gay? Oh, as long as they're gay, it's okay for them to call themselves Christians as long as they're gay. I've never yet heard an atheist say these dumb gay Christians and their stupid beliefs in God. This is why the Bible says, what is the main reason for all this war and fighting and all this? It's because your deeds are exposed, and you fail to come under the light because the light exposes you. That is the plain, simple truth. Now, like I said, I really don't give a rat's behind. Maybe I should. Lord, forgive me. Maybe I should care about atheists. Maybe I should be out on the street begging atheists to give up their atheism. Okay? And come to Christ. Okay, I'm begging you. Give up your atheism and come to Christ. Now that we got that out of the way. Okay? I hope that was good enough, Lord. Okay? Because I really don't care. Okay? But anyway, now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about self-defense. It is not my desire to push or force or look for a way to brawl with people that are different than me, like atheists do. See, atheists, they want to catch you somewhere praying or talking about the Lord or saying why you don't do something that they do in the name of faith, so that they can get offended and find a way to. If I'm wrong about that, nobody should be on this channel. I should not see any comments when I'm done doing this video and it's been processing for a week or so. I should not see any comments. But yeah, you can go to every atheist video I've ever done and there are comments. Why? Because atheists love to... Atheism is a game to them. It's a big fat game. It's a big game. That's all it is. It's nothing that they don't take it as serious as they want us to take it. Let me say that again. They don't take atheism as serious as they want us to take it. Okay? It's not like, atheists say dumb stuff like, well, I was a Christian, then I got converted to atheism. If there is no belief in a God or a spirit, okay, if the word spiritual is all these secular things that atheists tell me there are, then there's nothing to be converted to. And some atheists would agree with me. There's nothing there to be converted to. So how did you get converted to atheism? My Bible tells me you got converted to foolishness. Sorry, Frank Turk, it doesn't take faith to be an atheist. It takes foolishness to be an atheist. Read your Bible before you write a book. But anyway, I don't care about getting into these brawls with you. Okay, many people that are good at fighting will provoke people. Atheists know how to do this very well. They will provoke people into fights. Okay, I call it, they use Atheist-ti-do. And another art that they use is mixed definition. And what that is, first of all, Atheist-ti-do is to provoke someone into a fight. Okay? And then call yourself practicing self-defense. The Christian didn't come to you and try to preach the gospel to you. He was preaching it to somebody else. But you showed up and decided to pretend that he was preaching it to you. He wasn't talking to you. He was talking to this guy over here because he could tell from your spirit to let you keep moving. But you decided that it was your fight. So you intervened. And then when it got hot, you called it self-defense. That's Atheist-ti-do. Mixed definition is when you know you're going to lose. You know you're in a losing fight. So what you do is you keep going around in circles mixing the definitions. I say the word Christian, you give me some foreign thing, you know what I mean? And this way you keep the Christian confused. And therefore you win the debate, win the argument, okay? Which the Christian wasn't trying to get into this with you. You chose to create this, to take over the floor, okay? But that Atheist-ti-do and the mixed definition doesn't work on me. I am well trained in Yeshua-do and Yahweh-do. And what those are is, Yeshua-do means that if you are well trained in the New Testament, okay, then you don't have to worry about what people are saying, because the New Testament explains how we got to where we are. Atheists want to understand, how can you pass up all the murder and all the blah, 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 blah in the Old Testament and play this little Jesus trick with us? Well, let me tell you. God dealt with the people in the Old Testament. I feel like I'm talking to idiots. I'm talking to the mentally ill right here, because you don't know. Let me help you, you mentally ill people. God in the Old Testament, just like he does today, dealt with people within the cultures that they were in. Or else, like today, that you don't, but you should. I wish it was a law that you'd have to remove them stupid looking tattoos before you call yourself a Christian. Some of them tattoos are so bad and so horrible, they have to remove them in order to step foot in the church. They're just horrid, man. They're just dumb. Okay? You'd have to take them nasty piercings out and let all them holes heal up. coming into church looking like you got transformed into a human lizard. Okay? But see, just like today, also back then, God dealt with people in the cultures that they were in. When there was bloodshed to be shed, God dealt and pulled his people from among the blood that was being shed. God separated the rapists from all the different cultures that were disrespecting women, and he showed them how to be a one man with a one woman. He went among the kings and called his people out from among the kings. They wanted a king. He didn't want to give them a king. He wanted to be their only king. He let them know. He let them know up front, but they didn't listen. He says, if you take on a king, he will cause your daughters to be concubines. They didn't listen. Okay? So amongst all the, what atheists would call sexual slavery of the day, God pulled his people out from among them within the cultures that they were already in, just like today. Okay? And he chose a people for himself. God did not create their cultures. He created the people out of those cultures. Okay? And those that were the highest of the cultures eventually learned how to make God their culture, instead of God happening to reason with their culture. Just like if you read your daggone Bible, which I don't expect you to, neither have you, because you're not a Christian. But Abraham and Jacob and Isaac learned about God up in steps. Okay? One minute they were just a believer, and then another minute they were a soldier in the army of the Lord, to make a long story short. Okay? But just like today, God dealt with people in the cultures that they resided in. Okay? God's not the one that was, and this is the other thing. I say this all the time. What do you think your ancestors were doing back then? Huh? All of us have ancestors coming back from that time. What do you think they was doing? You think they were sitting there, doing what you're doing today? Going all the way back in time? No. If you were living in that time, you would have acted like the people of that time. Okay? And this is not only a story in the Bible. You can find this throughout history. So I just debunked atheism for you again. Because this stuff about you can go back in time past. Okay? And claim that, oh, the Bible's wrong because look what they did way back in the Old Testament. Can you believe this nonsense? Guess what? Your ancestors did the same thing. Okay? And God dealt with people within those cultures that they were in. Today, he's dealing with us in the cultures that we're in today. But his commandments never changed. Okay? His commandments have never changed. And here you want to condemn the Old Testament, but yet you want to condemn us for wanting to be more moral today, even more moral than the people that were back then. Because God has blessed us today to be more moral than the people back then. Okay? No one has to go around chopping heads off like King David. Okay? Because God has blessed us to escape that time. But in self-defense, if we were still living under the power of bloodshed that they were living back then, if you read your daggone Bible. Okay? We'd be cutting heads off today too. Okay? And so would the atheists be cutting heads off today. I'm out of time. God bless you. I'm DeRoy Cruz, your Life Applications Officer. This is good. I want to close this before it gets cut off. I will see you again with the rest of this important topic. God bless you till next time.